fall out, all of all bow wow, call tall pow, south side, outside, pow outline, missile thought, fire bounce, higher powers out now. I was outside, now my power pow now. Eyes wide, should've speak utterly upside down, camera obscura, power down scuba, mama in Cuba, my it sounds good now. Out and about, title bout, bow, how loud, high lie, Mutai, Aztec, forearm, Nasdaq, abstract, Frackle rockin' chow down, hazmat to deuces, diametrically outbound. Matter of fact, pass that ginger pop in the cooler than the medulla of Rick the ruler. Hula hooping with new bow downs from Newbert. That's that life of a king, got my crown now, feeling accomplished. Super looper fresh chocolate, collectible conscious, young crunk in your town now. Via minor aircraft, snapping like a bear trap. Tijuana Air Max, chainmail gauntlet. Big Bertha earthquakes, 100 dB, 90 BPM, heavy hitting them triplets, 100-sided dice, rolling 79 twice. Get ready, we bringing the jazz back with the rhythm, we giving them infamous with some Midwest liquid mission, tricky nicks and mixing, matching, scratching, rapping, action, Jackson making it happen, pap it, midi, patch it, map it with a pinch of magic, casting master sentences, with a gang of wicked vixens, listening close to us, flipping different widgets, mystic digits, coast to coast, pole to pole, folding time, golden time. Overload on. Yeah, peace, y'all. I just want to give a big shout out to Netic Rebel. Rest in peace. You know, a Jujutsu artist that was just slain in Mexico, in Tulum. You know, and he was with his architect and one of his workers, and they were both shot, and he was shot and killed. You know, now we don't know if he, you know, fought against the assailants. But, you know, it's crazy because, you know, gang violence is a big problem that I've just been talking about in my last lecture. And in Mexico, you know, the Mexican gang violence, you know, out there is even worse because it's like, you know, the gangs are higher than the police force out there and probably even the military in Mexico. And, you know, they're in league with the already out there colonial powers, the Catholic Church, you know, known for harming kids all around the world, right? You know, Netic just died out there, and I was just watching a podcast of him, and it's really sad that that brother had to go like that he was murdered. He was actually just talking about, you know, a lot of stuff that people call, you know, conspiracy theory and stuff. I'm not even going to talk about it, but, you know, I'll post a link to this podcast that he did with the sister, but, yeah, it's really sad. You know, we used to play with them, you know, at the same type of shows, you know. Shout out to James Spooner. Shout out to Matthew Morgan. You know, I was there at the beginning when James was first, you know, doing the Afropunk shows. And then when, you know, Matthew Morgan came in, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Matthew Morgan was always, you know, had been managing him for a minute, you know, the Game Rebellion before they broke up, you know. But we used to play shows with them, you know, Dragons of Zenith. We would play shows with Game all the time. I think we did a Halloween show, you know, I can't remember where it was. But yeah, you know, it's at that place across the street from Blue Man Group. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, right by Indochine, you know. But yeah, it's really sad, you know. It's like he was a multi-faceted, talented brother. You know, he was... you know, ill at all types of sports, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, talented musician and a martial artist. You know, he trained all different types of arts. That's why I was raising the question, like, you know, did he try to, you know, take the gun from them, you know? Because I was just talking to a cop about that yesterday, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I got a neighbor that's a cop. You know, I'm just talking to cops like that generally, but I got a neighbor that's a cop, and, you know, we were just talking about, you know, I was asking him, like, if somebody points a gun at you, do you try to take it from them? Do you just, you know, let them do whatever they want? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? And he's like, yeah, don't try to ever take it from them. Never, ever try to take a gun from somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because you think, like, oh, yeah, like the movies, I can snatch it out real quick or something, or I can do some martial art move. I don't know what happened, but, you know, rest in peace, Netic, you know what I'm saying? He was, you know, very well able to defend himself, and some people say it might be an inside job, you know. that when it, because he was there with his architect and a worker, and they both got grazed like in the shoulder. The worker got grazed in the shoulder. I forget what happened to the architect, but most architects are of the Masonic order, and down there all the Mason lodges are connected with the gangs because the gangs run everything. You know what I'm saying? The press are afraid of the gangs in Mexico City, and that's also why I'm doubling down. And when we screen Scared Girl in Mexico City, I'm not going to be out there, because the guy that did the Muhammad movie, they went and shot him at a premiere. You know what I'm saying? And my movie deals with a lot of issues dealing with colonialism and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to be nowhere near none of that type of stuff. I was just warning my homie Equete, who's out in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually about to do an interview with a Moorborg interview with Sunru Carter, 333. Shout out to Sunru. And he's out there. You know what I'm saying? He's been out in Mexico for a minute. So I'm definitely going to be asking him about Netic, whether he knew him and all that. Because it's just dangerous out there. I'm warning all my homies out there. What's interesting is that a lot of Black Americans have this fantasy of leaving America and it's going to be better there. But in my experience, America is our natural home, and it's the best place for Black folks. We're doing the best. Africa, you got to pay bribes off. It's still unsafe in Africa. Mad home invasions. People aren't safe. Women aren't super safe. But India is even worse. Women can't even walk the streets in India. And it's you can move out there as an expat thinking you're going to be saving a lot of money and this and that. But it's I think what's going to happen is the rest of the world is going to have to become more like America, where, people are probably going to have to be strapped in the future. But people aren't ready for that. That's a cultural evolution. And I think that, most countries can't even handle that yet. Their governments would never let the people do that. You know what I'm saying? Be strapped and whatnot like out here. In Japan, they go in people's, houses and, check their guns multiple times a year and stuff like that. But, we don't know if Netic was strapped. But, I'm sure he wouldn't go out like, a punk. You know what I'm saying? He seemed to be that type of cat. That's why, any type of crime that's related with death and stuff in Mexico is definitely going to be connected with the gang. You know what I'm saying? Because Mexico, no matter what, you're going to always be dealing with some type of gang member. You know what I'm saying? At certain levels of certain businesses. It's just like the mafia, out here, but they were able to tackle the, Italian mafia. And just like our last lecture, they were able to tackle YSL, and Young Thug's trans mafia. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't remember, Young Thug's gotten awards from, that realm and stuff like that. So the different, the feds here in America can actually take down the gangs. But in Mexico, they can't take down the gangs. So, as far as Netic is, a casualty. It's like Sebi died out there. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X's son died out there. That's why I was already, funny about going to a screening in Mexico. I'll visit Mexico for a second, but gang activities is too much out there. I would never go there with people knowing who I am out there, because Mexico is a very, very dangerous place. And he was a brother with a lot of confidence, and they don't like that in Latin America. I've been telling people, I was out in Cartagena. You know what I'm saying? When we were out in Cartagena, we helped bring peace. I was out there with the U.S. Department of Justice. We helped bring peace to, the wars against the indigenous black Moors in Cartagena. Cartagena is named after Carthage. And in South America, in Mexico, they just recognized black Mexicans, but trying to call them African Mexicans, even though obviously the Olmecs and the black people started Mexican civilization, even up to the Aztecs. Got all the pictures. I'll show those pictures, add that in. So Netic was a smart brother, and he was dating models, flying around the world. He was a real rock star. You know what I'm saying? And for all, I think America's a safer place. North America, the USA. I wouldn't even recommend Canada moving out there. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like USA, leave Canada. But it's like, USA is the safest place, the best place for the black, cast. And, somebody got Netic, and whoever that somebody is, they never caught them. And, out there,
nobody ever catches killers because the organized crime runs everything. You know what I'm saying? The Mexican gangs are, stronger than their police force and their army. Their armies barely can fight them. It's like El Chapo can't even be jailed there because there's so much corruption. He has to be jailed in Brooklyn, like I was just talking about in my last lecture. You don't hear El Chapo on the radio, but but you do hear, black terrorists and gang kingpins on the radio here. But out in Mexico, it's still the same. My homie K Swift was actually just put me onto the like narco kind of Tejano like gangster traditional music. I had never heard that stuff. I forgot what you called it, but I remember narco was in it, it's part of the name. But yeah, Mexico's a very dangerous place. Most if you look on the U.S. Department of State, I believe's website, maybe they have basically warning spots. I believe only maybe Panama is kind of safe. A lot of the blacker places, it's much safer. Maybe I forget, maybe Honduras too, but the whole South America. So back to when I was in Cartagena, I made a mistake and said U.S. Department of Justice. I was actually out there with the U.S. Department of State. The Next Level program, where they send hip hop artists, like a continuation of the Dizzy Gillespie jazz, stuff back in the day, spreading American culture or whatever. I was out there, and they actually did the truce when we were out there, and I'm just walking around the streets in Cartagena in the slum sections, and people. I was walking this place, everybody was black in there, and they had a giant 14-foot white Jesus. So it was kind of shocking, just to see it almost in a more 200 years ago kind of colonial format, because it was a shanty, you know what I'm saying? So it's places like that. I was out there, the tour guide, I was telling him about the Lucia woman. He's like, what are you talking about? The tour guide never heard of the Lucia woman, the first South American, you know what I'm saying? I was in Colombia, and the first South American, I was in Cartagena, I had a black tour guide. Everybody was black there where I was in Cartagena. And the tour guide's like, yeah, I never heard of the Lucia woman. You know what I'm saying? But, she's 11,000 and a half years old out of Brazil. She's the oldest known full skeleton of a human from the Americas. And they did her forensic studies. And, all the forensic is that she was black. You know what I'm saying? Her back of her head was totally conical, totally black woman. And, they don't teach about it. In Brazil, they tried to burn down the whole museum, So, black history and black people are hated in South America. And, I wouldn't recommend anybody to move out there. I've always, warned homies living out there, to be careful. Just like I was warning a homegirl that was living in China, but she got out. Thank God, you know what I'm saying? It's like China's dangerous. China, foreigners can't even own land. You know what I'm saying? So Netic was building his own land. You like those shadows? See the tree shadows? Netic was building his own land. He was building on his land with his contractors, and then he got taken out. Boom, it's working. Okay, all right, yeah, peace, y'all. So today we're just gonna do a quick run through of Netic Rebel's article that just came out in the Riviera Maya News. Right, rest in peace to Netic Rebel. So yeah, I'm just gonna read through this because there's been some stuff on YouTube, kind of like these kind of fake news stories from some Indian blogger media that doesn't seem to be painting the whole picture. So, I'm doing this in tribute to him. So I'm going to read through what we know so far. All right. So for those that don't know, Netic was, a multi-talented polymath. He was a genius, doing all different types of things. He was not only a jujitsu martial artist, doing all different types of martial arts. He was a gallerist. He was a property developer. He was doing all different types of stuff outside of music. Most of us know him for his music. Being the head of lead singer of Game Rebellion, and he was found dead in the past week, a couple days ago in Tulum. and I believe he arrived at his house, one of his properties, with his architect and a worker. And I think they went inside, and somebody was like some gangs were squatting it out and shot them and killed them. So we're gonna read through what happened. All right, so this is the Riviera Maya News. All right, so we're gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna make this bigger. So it says botched burglary leaves one dead, two injured in Tulum. I'm gonna look for some Spanish articles too, but I haven't seen it. I've been looking for it. So botched burglary leaves one dead, two injured in Tulum. Tulum News. In Tulum, Quantaru, the Attorney General's office reports an open investigation into the shooting death of one foreign man and injuries to two others. So this foreign man, that's Netic. On Thursday afternoon, the report of a shooting inside a house in the Grand Cenote neighborhood of Tulum was made to 911. Police responding to the shooting arrived to find three injured people. The injured was a man who had been shot in the stomach, another who was shot in his shoulder, and a woman who was hit in the head with the butt of a firearm. They were able to call emergency 911 for help after fleeing the house. According to the preliminary reports, the shooting took place inside a private home, which was the result of an armed robbery in progress. The shooting happened around 5:15 p.m. when the thieves were discovered inside the house by the American homeowner, who was in the company of two others. In response to being discovered, one of the men pulled out a gun and began shooting. One man, 48 years old, Juan N., who was a worker for the homeowner, was hit in the shoulder and treated on site before being transferred for medical attention. The second injured was 27-year-old Catalina N., an architect. She was found pistol whipped. She was also transferred to the hospital. Juan N., a worker of the home owner, who was treated for a bullet wound to his right shoulder. So I'm wondering why they're not saying his name. Why aren't they saying his name? And we know that the mafia is very, very heavy out there in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Skater Girl screenings, we're gonna screen in Mexico City, but I'm not gonna be there for these types of reasons. Dr. Sebi. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X's son, but Malcolm X's son was dealing with karma and all that type of stuff. But with Netic's case, it just goes to show when you have a brother that's highly, highly confident and feels that they can achieve anything. There's people that want to take people out like that. And so all the musicians and brothers out there holding your chest up high, you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful because there's people that want to deflate your greatness. So let's see. Let's continue reading. The third was the unidentified male, said to be an American, and the homeowner. He was shot twice in the abdomen. He was rushed to the hospital, but reportedly died shortly before midnight Thursday. In a public notice, local authorities have only reported the FGE of Quintana Roo began the investigation for events that occurred in the Grand Cenote neighborhood in Tulum, where a male of foreign origin was deprived of his life. They keep saying, they won't say his name, which is strange. But it's just really sad what happened. I'm actually gonna paste in part of his Instagram just so people can see, a little bit of what he was about. Because he was very, very he was very, very political, and he was also just a very, very worldly person, traveling around the world, doing a lot of different things. There we go. So yeah, I'm on his Instagram. And I'm just going to read some of his recent stuff. I don't listen to music I don't like the sound of. I'd rather not eat food that I don't enjoy the taste of. Similarly, I'd rather not look at people I don't enjoy the sight of. My sense of self is wrapped up in my senses. Netic. So he said, Martin had a dream, so do I. A little toxicity never hurt anyone when it's wrapped in the truth. Feel free to argue about it in the comments, but if you don't agree, you're probably ugly. Let's look at this. So this is him at a gallery. He was also a gallerist. So let's read this. From when I visited that money laundering convention in Mexico City a few weeks back, buy the art you like, thus you are the only critic who can dictate its value. So you see he's a very outspoken person, and I'm an outspoken person as well. And sometimes, when you speak out, people try to silence you, and we don't know what really happened to this brother. If it was just a pure robbery and somebody saw that, like, oh, they could come up off of him, or if it was even, some type of bigger picture thing where somebody's trying to silence him, because let's skip here. He was a fighter. But yeah, love is unconditional. Relationships are 1,000% conditional, right? So he had a lot of strong opinions, but it's very, very sad, to see this brother go. I don't trust science. I trust nature. Netic. So let's see. He was an environmentalist. He was a you know philosopher. Activist. He was all over the place. Netic, most of the problems we encounter today have come as a result of trusting science. Plastic and everything, he's talking about microplastics, nutritionality, food, void foods, monocropping, factory farming, strip mining, all drug addiction, overpopulation in concentrated areas, industrialization of everything, declining fertility, all pollution, nuclear weapons. We got Putin threatening to, right now put a nuclear tidal wave, the Poseidon bomb, or I'm sorry, the Poseidon torpedo. He's saying can make a wave that can cover the whole UK and turn it into a toxic desert. That's what Putin was just threatening last week. So he's talking about nuclear weapons. We actually use an atomic bomb on humans in the name of science. Racism and sexism were scientifically backed, non-renewable resources, etc. Add money or power to the equation of science, and there's nothing worth trusting. Trust science is an extremely unscientific statement. Science, by definition, is an intellectual pursuit through study, observation, and experimentation. These things are done systematically in a way so that trust is removed. Doubt and uncertainty are the driving factors of science, underpinning science through repeated experimentation and charting results. This doesn't mean that science isn't manipulated or infallible. It also doesn't mean that science isn't dangerously used against people. It is always and has always been. If you want to be scientific, question everything. You see, nature provides what we need, not what we want. So yes, nature may bring death and destruction at times, but it would always be in balance with the ecosystem. Where science tries to control and trump nature for humans' desires and wants, and we end up taking humans out of the ecosystem, therefore forcing us to use science to create new ecosystems. And very quickly we realize those systems are short-sighted and destructive to not only us, but all nature. So no, I don't trust science, and neither do scientists. Right? Very, very smart brother. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really sad to see him go like this. Right? So we're just gonna, click through some more in racism, hate everyone equally. He's, very outspoken. Right? And like I was saying before, he's a, master of many martial arts. I believe he might be blue belt, I think, in Jujutsu. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep flipping forward a little bit. Yeah, I just wanted y'all to see a little bit of his Instagram because there's these people right now on YouTube posting these like fake Netic videos, and so I just want to put some real stuff out there. He was a real person. Because some of these kind of cats are like these bots that are just finding out about deaths in America and reporting on stuff. You know. But yeah, so he was. Let's look at this. Let's go back here. He was building places, contracting and stuff. And he was also dating women from around the world. And so he might have had haters on the women that he was dating. It's like he was a very, very confident guy. He was dating models, dating flying around the world. Rolling with all types of celebs and whatnot. And in those types of instances, at a certain point, you got to have security. You know what I'm saying? Security is is a real thing. But I'm gonna leave it off on this. It says there are no obstacles. There is only terrain. And that's a great way to look at life. You know, not looking at things like, oh, look at that wall, that barrier, that mountain. Like, no, I can climb that. I can, scale that. I can burrow through it. You know, it's different. Looking at things, it's different type of terrain. So yeah, rest in peace to Netic. All right, highly talented polymath. So all right, peace.